Well, hi everyone. I'm Chris Fenton. I'm a GP fundamentally, and I'm CEO of a small hospital in Dili in Timor-Leste called the Birapita Clinic. It's been operating now for 15 years, just had its 15th birthday the other day, and it was founded around the work of one doctor, an American-Irish or Irish-American doctor, Dan Murphy, who just turned up 15 years ago on the basis that if he was there, help would come, and it did. And by miraculous means, he continued to be provided with staff and with supplies because of the good work he was doing. And it was tumultuous times initially because he commenced the clinic whilst Indonesia was still occupying Timor, and he was patching up bullet wounds, and it was pretty horrific, and he was in a lot of personal danger at that time. Anyhow, he continued, and he's gone on to build a really quite remarkable clinic, and has attracted to him an awful lot of people who want to assist him in his work, including a number of doctors from Australia, including myself. And he sees a huge number of patients every day, works 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and probably would see around about 140 outpatients every day. There are about 55 inpatients in the hospital and about 120 deliveries a month. We've got a busy antenatal clinic. We've got mobile community clinics. We see a third of TB patients on the island of Timor-Leste. We see about 80% of the HIV patients. Timor itself is a really challenged country. It's just been redesignated as the third hungriest country in the world. It has the highest infant and maternal mortality rate in the whole of Asia and the Pacific. And despite the fact that it does have some oil revenue, it's in fact a very resource poor country. And the Ministry of Health has a very small budget with which to address such massive health problems for its 1.2 million population. They're very near neighbours of ours. It's only 450 kilometres from the Australian coastline to the Timorese coastline, second nearest neighbours after PNG. There's a huge historical connection between us, and that comes from Second World War, where a lot of people feel that we owe a massive debt to the East Timorese for help they gave our soldiers. And very sadly, possibly the largest number of civilians in the world that have ever died for Australia died in Timor as a result of our being there in the Second War. 60,000 Timorese were killed by the Japanese as a result of their assisting our soldiers in retribution. So there's a very strong link there, and there have been ongoing links, many links since that time. So they're very close neighbours. They're in dire straits health-wise, and they're beautiful people. And so many people have been drawn there, and it seems like the natural magnet is this clinic that Dr. Dan Murphy has built and operates. And then around him, other doctors come in and support him in his work so that he can speak about 6 languages, see the outpatients, triage them, find the very sick people, admit them, and then some of our other senior doctors on site then particularly concentrate on looking after the inpatients. We do work closely with the Ministry of Health, and we transfer patients to the National Hospital when necessary. But we do have things to offer that the National Hospital can't offer. And I think that with such a big battle, there's a real opportunity for people to make a contribution here because the need is far greater than the resources are there to meet it. So what happened with myself is that I was a GP in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, a very normal, regular occupation for many years. But I had, since I was about 7 years old, decided that I really thought I should do something to help people in underdeveloped countries. That happened one day. I remember I was watching the black and white television set, and I was, like all children, very protected in those days and believed in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. And then one day I saw the famine in Ethiopia, and I never forgotten it. I remember the images now. Small children covered in flies with pot bellies and very skinny arms without the strength to stand up. And I remember as a 8-year-old child, I was horrified. And I said to my mother, who was there in the room, I said, I can remember sort of stuttering and being unable to express, how, because she was an adult and the adults shouldn't let something like this happen in this world. I was unaware that this sort of thing happened in our world. And I said, what's going on? And I could tell that she could tell that I was very upset. And she looked at me for a long time and then she said, look, it's complicated. And I remember as an 8-year-old, with that clarity that you have at that age, I thought, no, it's not complicated. It's wrong. And somebody should do something about it. I held that feeling for a long time. I went to university. I had a normal life, but then my life got to the point where I was getting close to being able to break out of the normal mold. I'd paid the mortgage, children growing up, and I thought, time's coming. And just around about that time, in 1999, I would drive to work every day and listen to Radio National. And they did the most amazing coverage every day of the lead up to the independence referendum in East Timor. And anybody who listened to their program recognized that terrible things were possibly going to happen there, and that these were people who were really in danger. And then they did have that wonderful vote supervised by the UN, where just about every person who could walk, every 90-year-old who could get out of bed, took that opportunity to vote and voted for freedom and independence, to the surprise of the Indonesians, it seems, and they went crazy. And they razed to the ground everything that had ever been built in the previous 25 years. They murdered many, many people, and it was a dark, disastrous time. And then after 19 days, fortunately, the Interfet forces led by Australia intervened. And then since 2002, the Timorese have been building slowly into a democratic government. They've had hiccups, they've had periods of strife, but fundamentally it's a very safe and peaceful country, but a very struggling country, and they do need our help. And so I, in 2006, finally took the step of going to Timor for the first time. I've now been well over 30 times, and I had a look around with the then Consul General to Australia from East Timor, Abel Gutierrez, and he spent 2 weeks with me, taking me around Timor and showing me the health facilities as they existed. And it was obvious that some things were very, very wrong, and some tragedies were occurring every day, many tragedies, and many things that 450 kilometres away in Australia would never happen. And so I felt very motivated to try and do something, even though I was just a single person, a GP, without any particular resources. But that's when I started to try and talk about this problem and build support. And the cause of Timor is one that many people support. And I found that many doctors responded, or they contacted me under their own steam. And then we were able to get business people involved, and we were able to build an organisation. We had some various ideas about how we were going to proceed from 2006 through to about 2010. And that was a frustrating time where we were building strength but unable to manifest anything on the ground. And then Dan Murphy came to us from Biorepedo Clinic and said, listen, you guys have got a good organisation, you've got strength, but we've got the hospital on the ground. How about we join together and try to make a difference together? And so that's what we've done since then. And it's been a fantastic period, very busy, hard work time. All sorts of challenges arise every day. Children need to be evacuated to Australia to get other treatment. We have 78 Timorese staff, and we have to find the money to pay them every month, and we have to feed our patients, 55 inpatients, 3 meals a day, 165 meals a day. And it's a busy time. But one of the things we need are more graduate doctors. We have wonderful student volunteers who really make a difference, and we need GPs with their mix of skills. And we really would love to hear from GPs who would like to spend some time with us. The longer the better from our point of view. A few weeks or 4 weeks or something is really fantastic. And all the GPs who do come and there've been many of them, find it incredibly rewarding. And ideally what we'd love to do is actually build a roster over a period of maybe a 2-year cycle with a month of time, where we could have a continuous sort of Australian GP position. That would be really something to build towards. And then if you're interested in that and you'd like to pursue that, if you just go to our website, you'll find some contact numbers which will get you to me or to other people, and all the information you need. And you'll also see some links there to the ABC Foreign Correspondent Program, which is 25 minutes long, but if you can take the time, it really gives you a great idea of the work that we're doing, and you see quite a bit of Dr. Dan, who is indeed a character. So thanks for listening.